Hey everyone, it's January 25th, and that means that if today is your birthday, you share it with Colombian serial killer Luis Alfredo Garavito, known as both the Beast and Tribulín, which is Spanish for Goofy due to his resemblance to the Disney character. Garavito was born in 1957, the oldest of 7 children in his immediate family. His father was sexually abusive towards his children and also suffered abuse from other adults in the neighborhood. He dropped out of school after just 5 years of formal education and left home at the age of 16. To make ends meet, he worked in stores and as a street vendor selling religious accessories. After developing an alcohol problem, he moved from town to town after wearing out his welcome due to his aggressive drunken behavior. He attempted suicide at least once and was seeking psychological counseling throughout his life. Colombia was a rough place to be in the early 1990s, still being in the throes of a civil war that began in the 60s that left over 1 million Colombians homeless, with tens of thousands of them children of parents who were killed in the war. But beginning in 1992, Garavito made it an even worse place by raping and murdering boys as he bounced around Colombia and Ecuador, killing at least 138 boys between the ages of 6 and 16 during a 7-year spree. Some estimates put the total number as high as 400 victims, making him one of the most prolific serial killers the world has ever known. He would disguise himself as a farmer, street vendor, priest, or old man and approach a homeless boy on the street. He'd offer them money or candy, or for older kids a job, walking with them for a while to tire them out, making them easier to overpower. The lucky ones were just molested. The unlucky were tied to a tree, tortured by Garavito biting and raping them, sometimes cutting off their genitals, then stabbing them to death. He decapitated many of his victims, then buried their bodies in shallow graves. Because he traveled across the country, it took a while for police to realize the killings were done by the same man. It wasn't until a mass grave was found in 1997 that they launched a task force to focus on the case. When 3 victims were found together in 1998, they caught a break because Garavito had dropped a sheet of paper with an address on it, which turned out to be where a woman he was involved with lived. When going through his things, they found photos of young boys and a journal with details of dozens of murders. He was finally apprehended in April of 1999 and confessed to 147 murders, drawing maps for police to find their gravesites. He was convicted of 138 murders and sentenced to 1,853 years in prison, but Colombian law says that no one can be held captive for more than 40 years. Because he confessed and assisted in finding the bodies of his victims, his sentence was reduced to 22 years, and he has applied to be released. He currently is still in solitary confinement for fear that he would be killed by other prisoners immediately. But a hearing was held just 2 months ago to determine his fate, with the only legal basis for keeping him behind bars being that he never paid the fine of $41,500 imposed when he was convicted. Let's hope he never gets that money. If this was your birthday, hope you had a good one. If you know somebody whose birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin, Luis Alfredo Garavito. That's him right there. And to him, I have to say, happy birthday, you bastard.